Hello, Wendy.
Evening, Steve.
The Wisdom Witches. What a lovely name for a business. Tell me, how did you get together and what made you choose the name?
So, the Wisdom Witches, at the very beginning, before COVID, actually, 18 months ago, 2 years ago, I was speaking at an event and I bumped into some other coaches that were at this event, all of whom were working by themselves. And we sort of got together and said, might be quite nice to have a monthly meetup where we just cross-fertilize ideas and we get to know each other and what we're doing and what we're offering to different clients. And that was the initiation of what is now the Wisdom Witches. Our first meeting for that getting together of 4 different coaches was going to be in Stirling in a real setting, and we ended up going into lockdown. And as a result of that, we had an online meeting. And on that online meeting, the 4 of us sort of said, well, you know, we've all got different ways of looking at different things that may be posing people issues or problems or difficulties. Maybe we could have an online platform where people come in and just meet and ask us questions, and we help in whatever way we can. And that was the first sort of initiation of what then went on to be the Wisdom Witches. I've had 2 or 3 reincarnations or of what the Wisdom Witches was all about. The name came to be like everything in my life. It sort of flies in from somewhere. It wasn't really very thought through. We were thinking of a name for what we did, and I suddenly said, well, we're sort of offering a place where we've got 4 people's different ideas of thoughts and wisdom, and we're sort of thinking outside the box a little bit. So we're not necessarily just following the trend of what everybody else does, but we're looking to help, to heal, to offer well-being in a way which is different. And I suddenly thought, so I suppose that's what witches did. You know, in days gone by, they were healers who thought outside the box. And that's where the Wisdom Witches name came about. So it's about us as people who offer ideas of healing, of health, of well-being in a slightly different approach, bringing different mindsets together to offer people different thoughts and different ideas of wisdom. And that's the Wisdom Witches.
And what's your particular area of expertise then, Wendy? What wisdom do you bring to the table?
So I call myself a humanologist. I work with the mind-body connection. So my background was very many years ago, I trained as a physiotherapist. And I realized that many people who were getting musculoskeletal disorders that were insidious, it was more related to the mind and the way they thought about the external environment and how they held tension in their bodies. And so I went on and did a number of different trainings on the back of being a manual therapist, including coaching, NLP, participatory facilitation, co-creational learning, many different aspects of training. And I work very much in the dialogue that we offer ourselves and how that projects out to others, and how we can change that internal dialogue to benefit ourselves, our health, and how that radiates towards those that we're involved with and communicating with. So it's very much mind-body connection that I work in. And I have an absolute passion for people, for being able to act like a catalyst for people to see how they can find harmony and inner well-being in themselves to really be the best version of who they are.
Now, you've got an excellent website. I'm just going to put it up on the screen. So you've got a nice homepage there, and then instantly we have some testimonials that are playing, so people can watch this video on the homepage. Now, this is real life members who take part in your, is it weekly or monthly sessions?
It's weekly. It's called the Friday Forum.
And we're going to talk about that, and that's a sort of membership, but it's very, very low cost membership for what they get. So they're part of a little exclusive club, and they can tap into the wisdom of the witches and the energy of the group as well. So there's a little camaraderie piece happening there, which is very good. So that's a worthwhile video to watch if anybody wants to visit the wisdomwitches.com. So as we go down, we see that you've got your next Friday. And then what you have is your retreats as well. So there's 2 main strings to your bow and how you communicate this wealth of wisdom that you guys have. You're meeting weekly online with members who can join this Friday forum. What time's that on at every Friday?
It's 11:30 till 12:30.
And they step into that via Zoom, so they can see everybody. I think that's it there. So you can see all the people there in the Zoom session, and they're all sitting having fun, and they can ask any questions. They can get to know the group. You know, it's all women sharing their thoughts with a focus on one subject per week, is that right?
That's correct. We do a different subject every week. Like last week was on Nourish by Nature. It was all about fermentation and gut biome. So the having a healthy gut and how that affects your general health and your brain. And this week we are talking about, as I said, the superpower, tuning into your superpower. So it's very much about self-belief and positivity.
And the next sort of string to your bow are these retreats. Now, these retreats happen often?
Well, they happen every quarter, but over the time we had COVID, we decided that we would try and run some online retreats. And we ran 2 online retreats during period through lockdown. They were a day and they were remarkable. All I can say is I was amazed by the ability that people had to switch off with what we offered via a computer, although they weren't sitting at the computer the whole time, because a lot of the exercises and the meditation and the sound work we did with them on that online day, they were in the comfort of their own home and they were making their own space, a space where they could completely relax. So that was during COVID. And then when we came out of lockdown, we had our first real retreat, actual retreat, which was in August. And once again, I was just so blessed to be in an environment that was created not just by us, but by those that came on it. It was a remarkable weekend that connected in so many levels.
This is the actual premises here, isn't it? This is a location and calendar. Now I'm going to play a little video clip of people who have attended the events and what they thought of it.
We were asked to choose a word that we wanted from the weekend at the beginning. The word I chose was connection, and wow, did it not just fulfill my expectations but totally surpass them.
All like-minded and completely connected.
It was just a powerful feeling of connection and fun and learning, and a wonderful blend.
Particular highlight for me was the drumming.
We also were in Lochvenniker at Calendar before 7 o'clock in the morning, which was exhilarating.
And sound baths and music medicine and energy medicine. Even yoga, which I had never done before, but really enjoyed, and it was excellent teaching.
For the yin yoga in particular, and the yoga nidra, it was lovely.
Food was amazing, very nutritious.
The food, the stunning location. I think for me one of the real highlights was the beautiful song that we sung when we were all in the water.
I went with no expectations and I was blown away with the feel-good factor that we all seem to share this weekend.
My soul and spirit were full and happy leaving there.
For me, it made it quite a transformational experience, and one to be remembered and cherished.
And I am desperate to go back.
It was just really magical time.
I would recommend anyone who is considering it to absolutely go for it.
Listen, it's a great thing. I mean, everybody, a bit of me time. That's what's missing for a lot of people. Purposes of us chatting on this is kind of threefold. One, you're a wonderful new business on the Awaken Pages directory. The retreats, I believe, are one of your. It's a really, really strong, powerful service that you're offering there.
From my perspective, you know, watching that video, I just feel so heartfelt about it, because it just fills me with a big warm glow, because it was just such a lovely space. And I would love more people to be able to feel what we felt when we were there. It was very special.
Well, what's for you won't go by you. And having dealt with the lovely souls and Awakened Pages, I'm beginning to see more and more of these sort of, there are no coincidences and things. And I've tried to reach out and say, well, look, we have a new business here. We have an upcoming retreat. There are still some spaces on it. Now, you've got it to a level where you've got enough people there, but the extra people, sometimes the full house, if you like, you've got everybody there. It just makes for that sort of, you know, it's like a full bar or a full party. The energy in the room can always be improved with the more people and everybody brings. So I've sort of reached out and said, well, look, is there anybody in the group who might be available next weekend, who might be interested in something like this? And tonight is a chance to chat about this, maybe for the benefit of somebody who might be able to make next weekend, but if not, somebody who can diary it for the next upcoming retreat.
It's not about just us, the Wisdom Witches, being there. It's about those that come and the energy that brings for everybody else, because it's very much a unified circle. It's like an empowerment. We work, the Wisdom Witches works in circles, empowered circles, for helping, or for really bringing the best out in women. Although we have had a few wizards on our Friday forum, and I would never say it's just gender specific for women. It tends to be that on a retreat environment, or in a retreat environment, it is more comfortable if it's for women.
I'm personally hoping that there are members of our group who would be needing something like this, and that this fills a little gap for them, and that they've got the time and the stars align, and that they're, you know, they can make it. Sort of wrap up with, is any final messages that you'd like to get across to the viewers and the people who watch the recording in terms of the service and, you know, being part of the Wisdom Witches?
So the Wisdom Witches is about coming out from the external noise, learning to tune into self, reflecting, growing, and being. And whether it be on the Friday forum or at one of our retreats, what we want to do is allow you to be your brightest self and to radiate that to everybody else that you come into contact with, so that when you walk into a room, you're the person that people want to go towards. They want to move towards you. They want to be in your space. They want to be part of your tribe. And I invite you and everybody from the Awaken group to be part of our tribe.